Come on, you guys. Let's go. What a performance from the boys today. Not just the boys, but from Enzo Maresca. Because to coach the 3 points today against West Ham in the London Stadium, a stadium where recently luck's not been going our way, man. Results aren't going our way. There's been many a time we've played good games in the stadium and not got what we deserve at times and been punished on countless occasions. So to come here and kind of tactically just outclass Tagliatelle, Lopetegui, whatever the guy's name is, against West Ham today, I feel like I have to start this review off by giving major credit to Maresca. You know why? Because the game plan today, the game plan completely just fooled West Ham. I saw that West Ham lineup. I saw Kudus and Somerville. I know what they were thinking. Lopetegui's thinking, you know what, we got pace to attack Chelsea in behind when they push forward with their high line. But Maresca was 2 steps ahead. He probably expected Lopetegui to have a counter plan against him, but he came with a counter plan for West Ham. And long story short, we essentially just dropped our lines. We were willing to maybe, instead of counter press intensively, we waited for West Ham to lose the ball in our half because we knew not only did we have the technical capacities to play through them, but we had the pace for days to burn through their backline. And we made West Ham look like a very old and slow team on countless occasions. I mean, we were creating attacks in 2-3 passes, left, right, and centre throughout the first minute, right to the very end. Lopetegui, angry, nothing's going his way. He's making a first half substitution, which did nothing to change anything for West Ham whatsoever. Maresca today, credit goes to him because he's showing that he isn't as one-dimensional as people assumed. I think a lot of us thought he'd be here creating this like Pep-like kind of B-Tech football. No, he's a lot more versatile than that. You know, he likes to find lineups and setups and tactics depending on the opposition we're playing against. That is going to give us big tactical advantages as the season goes on. And I think that's one of the reasons why the club felt very inspired to turn towards Enzo Maresca. I mean, listen, he's a manager that doesn't have as much experience, but I feel like he's really starting to show what he's about now, really coming to life. We're currently second in the table only for now. But you just think to yourself, you know what? I feel like we're a team that's going to be pretty dangerous now this season. And with a guy like Maresca showing great promise already, I'm really excited to see how this season develops. So I had to show some love because I think it's entirely down to Maresca. He gave us the blueprint today to have this performance against West Ham. But that doesn't take anything away from the execution we saw from the players today. And I think the player, of course, deserved man of the match today is Nicolas Jackson. I feel like this kid comes under fire a bit too much at times. Every time he isn't scoring a goal in every single game he plays in, it's like people automatically are quick to criticize him and tell themselves, he's not good enough. But when you look at how improvement comes over time, it's not linear where you see improvements after every single game. There's going to be little ups and downs. But since the start of 2024, Nico's trajectory has only been going up and up and up. I think today was the 10th goal he scored in the London derby, which is big for a guy that already came to the Premier League last season. And he's really showcasing a variety in his finishing right now. And I feel like he has the trust of his teammates. You see that when they celebrate with him. They look to find him early. You see the personality he's playing with right now. And he's not been getting enough credit for the improvements he's made since the start of this year. The last game, Nico's not good enough, blah, 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 bin him. Even though he's had a very impressive start to this season. And my Lord, I think this was by far his best game this season. And I think the thing that made him unplayable, absolutely unplayable today, was just his intelligent movement. I mean, look at that second goal he scored, for example. This is a top striker goal. This is the type of stuff I would see from a Cavani, for example, where you create the space for yourself. You basically tell your teammates, I want this ball here because I've made this run. And that run he made basically drew out Edison Alvarez out of position, and then he spun him and he darted into the space that he created for himself. Excellent weighted pass from Caicedo to find him. And Nicolas Jackson, that's his type of finish he likes. That's the type of finish he was producing all the time at Villarreal. That's his bread and butter. Beautiful finish outside of his right foot. First time effort too. And that was just testament to just this guy's growth as a player over time. I mean, even the finish for the first goal, you know, the anticipation, he was too fast for West Ham the entire game. That anticipation, quick from the free kick, releasing it to Sancho, making that run instantly in behind down the left channel, and then carrying it towards the goal, and then slotting it beautifully between Areola. I mean, this is a very unique striker we keep forgetting. You know, he is the best dribbling striker by far compared to anyone in this league. It's an outlier for a player, a striker like that, to have a skill set where he can dribble as good as most wingers in this league, right? The best ones too. But on top of that, it's this guy's movement. It's his technical playing capacities. And when you have a Nico like this, where he's not being tasked with playing back to goal, but he has to back into opposition defenders, he ain't that type of striker. Instead, you want Nico Jackson withdrawing from opposition defenses, right? Because he has the technical skills, the speed of thought, the pacing behind, you know, to be a very dangerous opponent in these areas. And West Ham paid the price today, you know, 2 goals, 1 assist, and 2 big chances made by Nicolas Jackson. Excellent performance, and the only disappointing thing was that he didn't end the game to at least have a chance to get what could have been a deserved hat-trick. So credit to Nicolas Jackson, and for everyone that still kept their stocks in this guy, I feel like we'll start to see the rewards of that come to fruition this season. But my friends, so many other positive things to talk about. I think the other main player I have to discuss, honestly, the MVP, if you guys told me, even though Nico Jackson today was excellent, well, if you told me that Nini, he didn't deserve man of the match today, because the player who did would have to be Moises Caicedo, because, wow, absolutely ran the midfield. And I really mean that this time. It's a cliche that's thrown around time and time again. But Moises Caicedo today absolutely ran that midfield, breaking up play for fun, giving us that energy, that intensity in the middle, alongside some exquisite ability to just kickstart attacks time and time again. His involvement across the whole center of that field, you know, winning second balls, pressuring up the fields, combination plays as well, and that beautiful first time weighted ball in behind to find Nicolas Jackson. It was a all-action performance, and when I see Moises play games like this, it's why I've always had these comparisons sometimes with the Michael Essien, because he's the only player that's reminding me currently of Essien back in his prime in the day for us. If you guys, long-time viewers or older viewers, you know, if you know about Michael Essien back in the day, you know that this guy was a complete midfield player. And I have this suspicion that Caicedo could make that same evolution in his game, because with performances like this, where he's that dominant on the field, like can I say, the foundations to get this win today. I think it was a really exciting, promising performance from Moises. It's one of the games too where it was one of the few times I've seen Enzo and Caicedo make sense together. Of course, credit goes to Cucurella, who was also inverting in midfield as well. But yeah, Moises today in front of that defense, yeah, I got to give this guy a lot of credit, man. You guys share your thoughts and opinions too, because this guy, absolutely phenomenal. But in general, it was a performance today I really liked. I've been enjoying our counterattacks. I feel like recently we're really showing one of the most dangerous teams on the counterattack. And it does seem like MARESCA is really looking to encourage that part of our game even more. At times, of course, maybe that's the only thing we can do to maybe break teams down. So be it if that's the case. It's very hard to break teams down when they're just defending their blocks, blah, blah, blah. But this setup today, encouraging us to get that first goal against West Ham, because that's the key thing, getting that first goal, which we don't do enough times now. It's great to see us do that, because it allowed us to absolutely control this game against them today. And when you see how MARESCA is just managing these games too, I think that's what really impressed me. You know, I like the fact that he made early subs. 55th minute, guys were coming off, replacing them with other great talents off the bench. It's going to really give us an advantage as the season goes on when it comes to mitigating players' loads, right? When it comes to just assuring that a lot of these players aren't going to burn out in times that we're going to need them, right? I think MARESCA understands how to use the squad and use his team. And I think that's quite impressive after he's only been here for a short amount of time. I mean, he has this level of player at his disposal where I think other managers would kind of be overawed by it and would make lots of silly decisions, still trying to figure out exactly how to make sense of the attack that he has. So I know I gave him credit at the start, but I have to give MARESCA even more credit today, because I think he was the guy to give us a blueprint to get this performance and to get this win against West Ham. I guess another disappointing thing was that we didn't get more than 3 goals. I felt like this performance today, but we were consistently just dissecting West Ham outside of the occasional flashes of brilliance from Mohamed Kudus. You know, so many times we kickstarted counterattacks. Maybe when the subs came on, they showed their lack of understanding playing together, right? Obviously, you're starting the game with Sancho, Palmer, you know, Nico, and Madueke. They played a lot of games together. They understand each other. Obviously, Neto, Felix, and Kunku, great depth of options you're turning to. But I felt like they weren't as clinical at times that they should have. And Kunku, very unlucky not to score with a header from a Levi Cole rebound. I thought Joao Felix, if I'm going to be a little bit harsh, I felt like maybe his involvement second half was a bit uninspiring in the sense that shots that should have been on target weren't. Passes that should have been on target weren't played. I just feel like this is the Felix that now has to step the hell up a lot more now, because he's signed for a club now where he will be replaced quite easily in this team. And he needs to do more outside of flashes of, you know, nice first touches and the occasional nutmeg or skill like that. There has to be more from him. And maybe Neto as well, you know, nice counter-attacking threat he gives us, but I felt he was a bit one-dimensional, only looking to put the burners on down the left flank, hoping to play a cutback cross. It is what it is, but as they play more, as they understand each other more, I think we'll only be a stronger team and a stronger squad as the season goes on, right? But yeah, West Ham today absolutely annihilated, dissected. They were frustrated. I'm surprised in a game like this where I saw a lot of nasty yellow cards. It's so mad that Bournemouth is the game out of all games that produced the record amount of yellow cards. Absolute nonsense, when this game was a lot more fiercer and rougher compared to anything that happened against Bournemouth. I found it quite interesting that in particular I'm seeing a lot of rough treatment now dished out to Cole Palmer. A lot more rough treatment compared to anything we saw during the whole of last season. The league knows about him now. He's not an unknown quantity. He's now a targeted man. He's on most teams' hit lists right now. If you can try and get Palmer out of the game physically, you can try and nullify a lot of the things that Chelsea do, but I don't think it'll be that simple now based on the options that we can now turn to. To end things, if anything, I think ending this game 3-0 was incredibly fitting, because 3-0 games tend to be pretty perfect games, right, in terms of everything. And I feel like we saw a bit of perfection today in terms of the lineup. I got the lineup right. I thought that's the lineup we would see, and it produced the goods today. In terms of the performances, we saw Nicolas Jackson tearing things up, masterclass performance up front. In terms of MARESCA's tactical setup, in terms of his man management, in terms of how he used subs, I really like the fact that he's already showing that we have more dimensions compared to just being this counter-attacking team. And if anything, a little bit of the stuff we saw last season from Pochettino is actually complementing what we're doing alongside MARESCA. So I like the fact that he's showing a lot more of everything right now. I think that's pretty exciting, to be fair. And to have this mixture of talent alongside the unpredictable nature that MARESCA, it does look like, is set to give us tactically. Ooh, it's exciting. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So yeah, great to have a performance like this so early in the afternoon. Hope you guys are excited. Hope you guys have a great week. And I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving, and tomorrow come back with some more videos. So make sure you stay tuned for that What We Learned video, my friends. So on that note, I'm Nicolas. This is BlueLionsTV. See you all soon. Up the Blues.